What are the shelf life of your actions? Now, as you're probably well aware, certain foods only last a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then after that they spoil, they go bad and they go off and you have to throw them out. Whereas some actions can have a very, very long shelf life, and in some cases your actions can even outlive you. Sometimes your actions can actually be passed down, the rewards for those actions can be passed down to the next generation, who can reap the rewards of those. Now, back when I was in my early days of fiction writing, I had created a couple of characters in a Minecraft world, and first of all, that book series, it started off as one solitary book, and then over time it grew into a 17-book box set. Now, I spent a lot of time sometimes writing at home, or if maybe we had to go away for the day or do something, I would usually take the laptop with me and I would sneak an hour or two in the back of the car. Maybe if my wife took the kids out for a picnic or something, or out to play in the park, I would sneak off for an hour and I'd do some writing, and then I would, enjoy the rest of the day with them. But I would get an hour's writing or a few minutes here and there as best I could. Now, at the time, those actions probably didn't have a kind of an immediate reward. I didn't, for that hour's typing that day, I wasn't rewarded that evening. I probably wasn't rewarded the next day because I hadn't finished the book. But over time, as I wrote more and more of those books, and when I finally finished the box set off, that book, to be honest, has paid off for itself many, many times over, and it will continue to pay for itself many, many times over in the future. So those actions I took back then, even though they didn't have an immediate kind of reward, the shelf life of those actions have repaid me many, many times over. And that's what I want you to think about today. Whatever actions you are doing, is this action going to be something that you are going to reap the reward from in future? Or is it something that is probably going to be there maybe for 5 minutes and then it's gone? Now, one of the easiest examples probably to show is how much time you're probably spending on social media, how much content you're creating, especially for social media, how much effort you're putting in, how you're maybe all over the place trying to put content everywhere. But if you think about that content, how long of a shelf life does it have on somebody's newsfeed? How long or how quickly does it disappears before it's not noticed anymore, and then you're back to the drawing board again and you're back hard at work creating the next batch of content. So in that case, if you look at the shelf life of that action or that content that you're creating, it's very, very short. And that's what I want you to think about. Whatever actions you're doing today, how long is the shelf life of that action going to pay you off for? Is it something maybe, again, like my books, is it something maybe that isn't going to repay you straight away? But is it something maybe sounded like a baby there for a second. Is it something that you can reap the rewards from in the future, in years and months to come? And again, a prime example of that at the moment too, I see a lot of internet marketers who are advertising pieces of software that create content. So for example, I could buy a piece of software today that could probably generate a video, some kind of video I could put up on YouTube, and I could spin that video into maybe 200 or maybe 300 different videos. So again, what the software does, it might take a popular keyword, say for example maybe dog training, and it will pull a couple of articles here and there from the web, and it'll make a video from it and it'll put it on YouTube. And then what it'll probably do is it'll take the content, it'll put a little bit of a spin on the video, so it makes it a little bit unique from the other one. So instead of having one video, I suddenly have 200 videos on the topic of dog training that I can upload to YouTube, and I can reap some traffic from it. Now, while that all sounds good and dandy, if you owned YouTube, how happy would you be to have some kind of, a video put together that wasn't helpful to the audience? How quickly would you probably start working your algorithm or your system to remove all those videos? So if you think about it that way, that software may be great for getting traffic right away. It may be great for content creation, but compare that to what I'm doing now, right now, talking to camera and recording this video and sharing some good knowledge with you. Which one is going to live longer in YouTube? Which one is going to get paid more attention to, which one is going to get more likes and more shares. Now again, this video here, it mightn't show in the in the immediate moment. I might only get maybe a handful of views, but over time, over the weeks, months and years ahead, more people are going to find this video. Again, I hope they like it, maybe click on it, share it, and possibly go over to the WriteCome site because of it. So in that case, what I'm doing right now is probably a million times better than that piece of software, but unfortunately people aren't thinking like that. They are looking for an immediate effect and not thinking about the shelf life of their actions and what they're creating. So what I want you to do today is think about what you're doing, the shelf life of your actions. Again, social media and all those different things that you are running around trying to please. You're almost like a person who is, with spinning plates. You're running from one to the other. You're trying to keep them all happy, but at the end of the day, what is the shelf life of that content and of all that running around? Wouldn't it be better maybe if you spent time creating something that'll live a lot longer, things that'll live outside a social media platform? Because you never know, Facebook could go bankrupt in the next couple of years. Some kind of legal action might come up and it might be taken down, and there goes all your content. So as always, think about what you're doing. Don't think about the immediate results. Think further. Is there maybe some way that you can reap the rewards for your actions in the weeks, months ahead, so that when it comes to maybe later on in your writing life, you need to write as often, you don't need to show up as much, because you can live off the fruits of all those little seeds that you've planted and those crops that are growing over the years, and you can reap the rewards from them in the future. So give that some thought today. Whatever you are doing, is what you're doing, again, maybe you could be buying a piece of software or something like that, is that piece of software going to give you something that is going to be a long-term result, or is it just going to be a flash in the pan that's going to be here today, gone tomorrow, and you have to start back at zero again, creating that content or going to all those different places and sharing your message? So give that some thought today, because I don't want you working your heart out for a couple of weeks or a couple of months right now, and then having all that content or all that stuff being totally useless, and you're back at scratch again. I want you to build your business like a wall, a brick at a time. Yes, it might take a long time, but there will come a time when you can stand back and you have a sturdy brick wall that will look after you in the years ahead, rather than constantly having to replace bricks all the time because your wall is full of holes and it's going to fall down if you don't keep taking action on it. So give that some thought today. What's the shelf life of your actions? And if it is a shorter shelf life, maybe it's time for a rethink, and maybe it's time to do something that is going to be a little more permanent. So as always, if you like the content, do a search for WriteCome, WriteCome.com. You'll find the content all over the web, and if you go over directly to the WriteCome site right now, we have a collection of free reports that you can pick up. One of them is Words to Wealth, and another one is I have some content creation reports and some things that are going to help you out in the future. So if you'd like to see what I'm talking about at the moment on the WriteCome site, head on over and at least pick up the free reports so you can take some of this good content and put it into action. So as always, have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.